talk about persuasion. Hi guys, this is your Mass Persuasion Model Vodcast, and we are going to dive into Rank's model of persuasion. I am actually quite a big fan of Rank, and I'll tell you why. He was way ahead of his time. He actually understood how advertisers and political figures tried to get you on board. And what he is proposing is that these persuaders use two different types of schemes. On the one hand, we have the intensification scheme, and on the other hand, we have the downplay scheme. Now, very, very easily, these two can be distinguished. When you're intensifying something, obviously, you want to intensify your good points and you want to intensify your competition's bad points. This obviously relates more to political communication than it would relate to advertising, because in most countries, except maybe the United States, we are not really allowed to talk about our competition. Therefore, we also cannot badmouth them or downplay their good sides. On the other hand, we have the downplay scheme. What do you want to do? You want to downplay your bad points and you want to downplay the opposition's good points. Put yourself into the political sphere. There you will see a lot of Rank's model of persuasion. Politicians constantly intensify their good points by emphasizing all the things that they've done right, repeating, associating, and composing messages that will really get you. On the other hand, they will also go on and on and on about the other parties or the other party political players' bad points. Of course, the other way around, it works just the same. Your political players want to downplay the things that they have done wrong, and they want to definitely downplay what their competing party has done right. Let's dive a little bit deeper into the different schemes. We have the intensifying scheme first. And Rank says there are three ways how we can actually intensify our messages. We have repetition, association, and composition. I'm pretty sure repetition is easy for you to understand. Here we are looking at repeating things to the point that they are easily stored into memory. Just as much as you like to hear a song 3 times, persuaders use this type of intensifying scheme to make you more familiar with something. Because as soon as you're familiar with something, you are more likely to follow through for that something. That's why most companies have slogans. They constantly remind you of the company name. They also have repetition in color and so on and so forth. Association is also a very good intensifying tactic. What you do there is basically you're associating yourself with something that is already loved, or you associate your competition with something that is already hated. Advertisers do this very, very well. Think, for example, of Jeep. Jeep is a brand that has strong associations with what? Of course, with adventure, with outdoor. They don't sell cars and clothes, they sell adventure. So they have successfully associated themselves with something that people love to do, and that is to go outside and to live an adventurous life. Obviously, if you want to associate yourself with something, of course, if you want to associate yourself with something, for example, a concept, make sure that you find out which concepts are actually well liked. Just like I said with Jeep, adventure is well liked. If you want to associate yourself with a person, watch out. Remember, for example, Nike's disaster. Nike has tried to associate themselves with the worst endorsers ever. They had Tiger Woods, mind you, he's still the greatest golfer of all times, no questions asked there, but also Lance Armstrong and then Oscar Pistorius. They associated themselves with the stars because they wanted to be as loved as the stars were. But we all know that went horribly wrong. Make sure you do your research. The third intensifying scheme is composition. Now, this is pretty easy to understand, but my students seem to battle a little bit. It's in essence, how your message is made up, how you are using design items in order for your advertising to be more convincing. So design, the language that you're using, the images that you're using, the Photoshop that you're applying, the non-verbal signs of space and time and colors, all of these things obviously need to play together for your advert to look good, or for your political persuasive message to sound good and look good as well. Politicians use advertising as much as everybody else does. But please keep in mind that composition can also be brought about by verbal symbols, the words that you are using. And as I say here, the level of abstraction, if you're using long or short sentences. Also, the kind of play on words that you sometimes have. Just keep in mind, verbal composition can be as important as your non-verbal composition. For example, politicians love to have a sequence of 3. He came, he saw, he conquered, for example. Or how Martin Luther King repeats, I have a dream, I have a dream. That is a verbal composition, and it also elevates your persuasive message. On the flip side, we have to look at the downplay scheme. Remember, we want to downplay our bad points, and we want to downplay the opposition's good points. How do we do that? Very easily, we can just let it fall by the wayside. We can just omit our bad points. With advertisers, usually the things that they don't bring up is the price, first and foremost, or the kind of effort that you have to make in order to use the product or understand the product. They would never actually point that out. Here I have the example of the VW Polo. In the advert, what do they say? Buy now, start paying in 2021. Well, there's a whole lot of fine print there. There are many terms and conditions that you should actually know about, which are conveniently omitted in the actual main advert. Diversion is an interesting one as well, because what you are doing is you are diverting attention. For example, if you know that you're a highly priced product, you would talk about something else. You're shifting the focus somewhere else. Politicians do this very, very nicely. If a journalist starts questioning them, they would say something like, but how about us opening up 3 new schools? So they are diverting the attention from the uncomfortable topic, and they are channeling it to a little bit more of a positive topic. Confusion is the last one. And in political language, confusion is rife. Everybody wants to bring out those glittering generalities, those powerful words that actually nobody knows what they stand for. Confusion can therefore be had by using jargon or by just overloading people with information so that they can't really ascertain what's right and what's wrong, what's important, what's not important. Advertisers like to do that, and politicians like to do that too. Now what I would like you to do, or better to say your lecturer in class would like you to do, is this particular ICE task. Of course, I would like you to apply Rank's intensifying and downplay schemes to the advert, but I want you to dig deep. Obviously, there is repetition there, but what is repeated? I also want you to go into the downplay scheme. What is being omitted? What is confusing? This is a very, very wonderful advert to actually showcase Rank's different tactics under his downplay and intensifying scheme properly. So throw yourself into the advert and really try yourself on this advert and see how well you understand Rank. That's it for today. Keep on learning.